3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome back, part 2 to TTMTrades. You all, the reason I say part 2 is I just recorded the video on all of these stocks. Well, I thought I was recording, and then when I stopped, I wasn't recording at all. So I was talking to myself the whole time. So we're going to dive right back into this. We have the 2,700 followers, so I appreciate every single one of you. But again, part 2, this is what I'm looking at. We're going to do a deep dive. This is going to be my top 3 for the week plus 6, because I think it's 9 stocks total. So first and foremost, ticker VHC. Matter of fact, let's do it like this. It'll be a lot easier. All right, first we'll talk about ticker XXII. So as you can see, it was on this downtrend. Finally, the bulls show some strength with 3 days of solid volume to push up into that top Bollinger Band. And then again on that pullback, found support right on that 1 standard deviation with a clean bounce above its 10 and middle Bollinger Band on good volume. So what we want to see is a continuation of this one to run up to 243 for some quick profit taking, even push back through that Bollinger Band up to 260 where the original high was at to lock in some quick profit for maybe a 10% gain. But this one is beginning to show some strength and a possible reversal to try to head back up to some of these old highs right around the 290 area to the $3 area. Next we got ticker VHC. Again, another downtrend. Bull shows some strength to push up into that middle Bollinger Band, and then didn't even pull back the price action, began consolidating sideways above its middle Bollinger Band, and then it broke out above the 1 standard deviation. So what we want to see is a continuation for this one to continue pulling up. If I was to try to make an entry, I'd try to make my entry right around 318 with the 10-period moving averages following the price action, and then possibly try to get that ride up through that top 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band right around 362 into maybe that 375 area, right where the support line is at, before we lock in some quick profit. Ticker ONTX. I really love this setup. So here you have some sideways consolidation, and then on very high volume a push up into that middle Bollinger Band, and then on the pullback some light volume, and now it's holding above its 10-period moving average in that middle Bollinger Band while the Bollinger Bands are constricting. So this one looks like a potential breakout play here. I would definitely watch 38 cents to hold as the bands begin to constrict and it continues to consolidate, and then I would look out for a breakout with some overhead resistance right at around that 50 cent where you can see the support is at, which correlates to that 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band, and then a push up into that 75 to 76 area where the gap fill is at. But one step at a time, let's focus on the breakout. So again, support right around 38, but watch for a breakout above the 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band as they begin to constrict. Ticker PRPO. Again, you had this downtrend. You had a gap up in the price action, then a pullback to fill the gap, and then another run up back into that high 64 to 65 with another pullback. And this time I found support on that middle Bollinger Band, which shows the further strength of the bulls and not allowing this one to pull all the way back to that support of 39 where the 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band is at. So we'll definitely try to make my entry right at support levels where that 44 cent is sitting at, and then look to make a break above that 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band right at 48 cent to try to push back up into these highs of 64, 65, right where the price action is topping out and people are locking in profits. All right, ticker AMMA. Again, nasty downtrend. A push up into the middle of the Bollinger Band as it pulls back, finds support on a 1 standard deviation with a run up to 90 cent, and then you get a pullback all the way to support areas right around 34. So does this show some slight weakness? Yes, just a little bit, but it's finding support right here on that 1 standard deviation. As you can see, the long candle wick and then the indecision candlestick right at the bottom of this downtrend. So what we want to see is a possible entry right around 34 with a reversal back into these highs of 46 and 52, right where that 2 standard deviation Bollinger Band is at and where the price action got rejected before it started its downtrend back into the support levels. All right, ticker BTCS, which stands for Bitcoin Services. This company is a direct reflection of what Bitcoin does. So as we know, Bitcoin is currently consolidating, showing that it wants to make a breakout for its next leg up. So you had this run up to 11.5 cents, and then it went on this downtrend with some slight profit taking, staying below its 10-period moving average. And then finally, when you hit that 2 standard deviation, immediately you get that bounce off and a break above its 10-period moving average and this 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band. So what we want to see is some consolidation right in that 7 to 7.5 cent range as the bands begin to constrict to show the low volatility, and then a breakout back into these highs of 12 cent where the price action has topped out on 2 different occasions. Right here at 12 cent, and then again right here at 11.5 cent into that 12 cent range. So I would try to look for an entry right in that 7 cent range and try to play the 7 to 12 cent spread for a 5 cent gain for a possible 70 to 80% gain overall. Ticker PLG. Now this one's a little more risky. Normally on the downtrend we wait for the bulls to show some strength to push into that middle Bollinger Band, and then as the price action begins to pull back to show further strength, it's holding it above its 1 standard deviation. So this one, high risk, high reward. We're pretty much picking the bottom on this one, but I'm looking at a possible 11 cent entry with a run up to 16 cent and then locking in profit right where this line of support is lining up with the middle Bollinger Band. Okay, now the reason why I'm watching this and I think this may be a possible bottom is our percent B line, which represents the price action along with its moving averages. So as you can see here on this downtrend, constantly below its 10-period moving average, and then constantly getting rejected by the 50. Now as you can see here, as it made that break above the 10-period moving average and came down and found support and started trending sideways, this was a consolidation period as far as picking bottoms. And then you had the breakout to the upside, which with the run up to 58 cents. So again, I'm watching for that same pattern because your percent B line gives you early indications of a momentum shift. So again, you see this downtrend below its 10 and 50 period moving average, constantly getting rejected, and then finally you get a break above the 10 and 50 period moving average. So you're getting early warnings of a possible shift in momentum, which could correlate with a possible breakout above 12 cents, which is acting as overhead resistance to run up into that 16 cent. So I would definitely keep an eye on this one for a possible 33% spread if you get in around 12 cent. And worst case is you get in around, I would say try to make an entry around 11, but you get in around 11 cents, it breaks below 11, you immediately exit the stock and take your small loss. Ticker RKDA, so we won this one back at $9.61 when it was riding its 10-period moving average, and your percent B line was above its 10-period moving average with a break above 50. And then it had that run up into the middle Bollinger Band right around 11.84 for a quick 15 to 20% gain. Now what we're seeing is that it's continuously holding above its 10-period moving average, and you have the middle Bollinger Band coming down to converge on top of it. So one of these two lines have to break here soon. It's either going to break above its middle Bollinger Band, which is very bullish, and run up into that $18 profit target or $15 profit target, and though it's going to break below its 10-period moving average and try to find support back down here in the 819 area where this previous low was at. But I'll definitely keep an eye on the break and then play my entry based off which direction it goes. And then you have ticker SENS. So we posted this one back in the chat last Thursday. We said watch this one for a potential breakout, and then finally it had the breakout, as you can see here. Again, this one is creating higher lows and higher highs. So you have a low here with a high, higher low with a higher high, and then a higher low, because on the pullback it holds above that 1 standard deviation Bollinger Band with a clean break above its 10-period moving average, and now it's beginning to trend upward. So is it getting overextended? It could possibly run up to this 360 area where the support was at and possibly pull back, and or it could top out at that $4 range again. But I would definitely keep an eye on this one. I would try to make my entry right with the 10-period move, and they're just currently supporting it right at $3.30, and try to ride it back up into these highs of $4 and lock in some quick profits for a quick 70-cent spread. And is that it? I think that's it, you all. We ran through that real quick. So yeah, TTMTrades top 3 for the week plus 6, which makes 9 total. I definitely keep an eye on all of these, along with drip, which I did a video on I would watch drip to see if that $6.47 level holds as support, and if it does, I will watch for it to make a higher high into that $8.36 window where this support is at for a possible $2 spread. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on drip, as oil seems pretty weak going into this week and may have a hard pullback. But again, TTM Trades, if you learned anything, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm out.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.